Greetings you all, sending you warm, positive vibrations. This is Body Culinary. Happy Sunday. So today we're going to do a little bit of movement along with a meetup. So I love to come together around a purpose, around focused activity, right? Focused activity that usually has several things built into it. Cooperation, focus on a goal, achieving a goal together. It has a whole another kind of vibe. So being very, very intentional this season, I find, these kind of principles can really end us up with some specific results. So today, hopefully if you have your heart rate monitor or your fitness tracker, you can set it. Today, I'm going to set mine for other indoor. I like to see the patterns of what I'm doing throughout the week. So throughout the week at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we meet on time, 5 a.m. every morning Eastern Standard Time. I set it for functional training. Today is going to be a little easier, yet today one of our focuses is to implement habits. I'm giving you some really leverage activities that can help you. Habits can go a long way, even if you are imperfect at having you end up at specific goals. So we're going to set today for other indoor because we're not using the GPS. Yesterday I went out for just a quick little afternoon bike ride, just I felt like I needed to get out and change my environment. So that's when I would put it on cycling so I can see the GPS. I want to get some feedback, some measured feedback and some positive accountability and see the patterns of what I'm actually doing. It also is very empowering to cultivate a foundation of esteem that is the result of integrity when you keep and honor your word to yourself. So you can show up imperfect, but showing up is everything. Right. So right now I burn 1K calorie, aka unit of energy. I have it set for beats per minute. Right now my heart is operating at 76 beats per minute. I'm going to put that at percentage. So now that I can see this is 46%, right, that I'm operating at. So if you have questions, today is our 2 p.m. for those that are that have invested in group coaching. We meet at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Sunday. So that's very specific, results oriented. If you are looking the same and your body composition has not changed and you haven't implemented some new habits every 3-6 months and definitely at the end of the year, then that means that something is off, right? There are some blind spots, something that we're not understanding, or perhaps we are grossly under or overestimating our amount of our energy intake, the quality of our energy intake, or the efficiency, the efficacy of our movement practice. All right, so we're going to chit chat. We're going to keep it light in between the movement today, but it is important to do something specific to get into action because we have enough channels on YouTube where we're chit chatting. There's nothing wrong with communicating, yet there's nothing like immediate action towards a goal. So I have a little heart rate monitor sit right here so I can see exactly what I'm doing. Hopefully you have your water in a wine glass. So I know that my water bottle, this one is 20 ounces. This is my standard, something I kind of put together myself. It's a 20-ounce mason jar. And I know because it has the measurements on it. I added a little sleeve to it so I don't burn my hands because I do like warm to hot water. I added a straw if I need to run out the door. And I also have a little top on it so I'm not spilling warm water or tea on myself. So I also know that it's 20 ounces. So I'll give you a tip. Measuring and having positive accountability, just like you do at your job or your business. To me, this is a business. And I consider, what do I need this business to be able to do for me the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30, 40 years down the line? For example, I want to be independently moving as long as possible. I want my brain operating at maximum capacity when it comes to decision making, having a healthy brain without inflammation as long as possible. I want to be able to walk and move pain-free. A lot of the population now has back pain, knee injuries, and shoulder injuries. And that could also be some sticking points where we feel like we can't get into exercise anymore, or we don't know how to work around or to strengthen the areas that have been compromised. We may just have some weak areas, say, for example, from carrying your bag all the time on one side or doing repetitive movements. As a chef, I'm always cutting and using my wrist on one side. So there are a lot of, let me take a sip of water. There are a lot of imbalances that we can't see with the eye that don't really get addressed when we're sitting inside of the machines. So I've worked in gyms as a personal trainer for many years, and none of it is bad or wrong. They all have a purpose. Yet inside a gym, as we discuss a lot in our training, because we're very information and results oriented based. When you're sitting inside of these machines, you're usually working in what's called the sagittal plane. So maybe I'll quiz on this. So the sagittal plane, if we cut your body in half, right, our movements would be here, like left and right, up and down, right? Those are pretty much, they're very linear type movements. However, in real life, will we get injured, or how we naturally move with the human body is, right, my arm, my levers, which are my limbs, can travel a full range, right? It can go here. It's not just going linear. It can go here, it can go here, it can go around circular. The same thing with my hips, right? It's very circular. So if you're sitting only in machines, only in a leg press, can you get a nice looking quadricep muscle inside of a leg machine? Yes. Though when you're sitting down, quite often your core, and that's not just your six pack or your eight pack, in a very functional context, your core, which includes your glutes. I'm including your glutes in there. And your back muscles included with your core. The body is meant to be worked in concert, in synergy, right? Like a nice little ballet. Everybody, all the muscles and connective tissue are working together. So a lot of times, this is a distinction. It's a very important distinction, because without these nuanced distinctions, it can be very easy to hurt ourselves or just not to be efficient and doing a lot of busy work but not getting certain results. So when you're sitting in these machines, you're not necessarily firing your core efficiently, all the musculature of the core, and we're not likely burning as much gas as we'd like to, and we're definitely not firing, getting the body and the core temperature nice and hot, which is very important to our back. So that's a lot of chit-chatting. Good morning. Greetings, Dora. Shout out to you, Dora. So, Dora, I wanted to make sure that I organized coming on in a way that those that are participating in FLOWAH Fit can participate, because we have several classes online that are on Sundays. Group coaching that is very specific is at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Monday through Thursday, 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is our signature workout. On time, 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Fridays is a community class. To participate in that, you can go to the About section. And also, the links are added here today, right? The active links. You can download a FLOWAH Fit application so that we can recognize you. You also fill out some kind of a questionnaire so I know your health conditions, and also so we can identify you. Safety is a priority. So let's get a little bit warmed up, right? Because we're chit-chatting. Nothing wrong with chit-chatting, but let's chit-chat with a purpose. So my heart rate is only at 30%, so that means I'm just jibber-jabbing my lips and my vocal box, but that's not necessarily burning a whole lot of fuel, right? Reverse. So we're taking big shoulder rolls. It's very common for us to hold a lot of stress here in the upper neck and leading down into the trapezius muscles in the upper back. So we can get a nice little roll. Good, again, roll it back. So try to make big circles. The only depression we want around here is shoulder depression. So shoulder depression is elevation. Here's depression. We're going to create a lot of space between the earring and between the shoulders. So I'm going to tuck the belly button under. And I love physical frames of reference. So if I was to put the yoga block by my side, I'm going to use the bowl of my pants to give me a marker for my pelvis. I don't want water spilling out of the front of my bucket if I have water filled all the way up to the top. And I don't want water spilling out the back. So if I was to put my yoga block to the side and draw my belly button in, right, draw it, not the ribs, the belly button, I want to try to make the belly button touch the back of the yoga block. So that's going to help me to keep a nice long lower back. Again, this looks cute, but it's actually pinching the lower back. So if I tuck my pelvis under, right, a lumbo-pelvic hip rhythm, if I tuck this under, then I'm lengthening my lower back. The spine has a natural curve, but I want this nice and long, especially when I start picking things up, to move. Another frame of reference is our imaginary headlights on our shoulders, on our hips, on our knees, and also on our ankles is pointed straight ahead. So my belly button is drawn in, my shoulders are down. When I'm stepping out to the side, I'll just camera so that you can see. This can keep us injury free. When I'm stepping out to the side, I don't want my knee pointed that way because all the force is going to go to my knees. If I'm doing that consistently, I'm likely going to jack up my knees. So I want my imaginary headlights, let's say that second toe after the big toe, my knees, my ankles, my hips, and my shoulders, I want them facing forward. So if I'm stepping out to the side, my headlights are pointing straight ahead in contrast to going here. So a lot of these little details can make a big difference, and you're not repetitively doing certain types of movement patterns and putting all the load in the joints. We don't want to load up the joints. We want to load up the muscles. So if the thighs are burning, the glutes are burning, that's fine. But we don't want to jack up the shoulders, the lower back, or the knees, or the ankles for that matter. So your belly button, your hips are tucked under. Belly button is drawn into the spine. What we're going to do is take some arm circles to the rear, right? Opening up the chest and the shoulders, right? Warming it up. Good, let's push the hips over to the side. Push the hips forward. When I push my hips forward, I don't want to go too far back. So if I squeeze my glutes a little bit and I'm trying to open up the hip joint, I'm protecting my back. Push your hips to the other side. Now put your hips and your glutes on the wall behind you so you feel a nice stretch in the back of the hamstrings and the glutes, stomach muscles drawn in. Again, push your hips all the way to the side so you can feel the stretch. Push them all the way forward. Push them to the side and back. Again, side, front, side, and back. Reverse directions. Put your hips all the way on the side wall. Put them forward. Squeeze your glutes so you're not compromising your back. You're helping to stabilize your back. Push your hips to the side and to the rear. Push them to the side, front, side, good, and then rear. So our basic little warm up. Belly button again. You're constantly going to check in that your belly button is drawn into the side, into your spine. So extend your arms, shoulder height. This is not active. This is active. Make an effort to keep your arms the same height as your shoulders. So alternate kick up. Make sure you can hear your inhale and your exhale. Kick it up. So it's 1, 2. You put questions. 3. Put them in the chat. 4, 5, 6. Strive to touch. 7. Your toes to your hand. 8, 9, 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So it doesn't need to be perfect. With functional movement, which is my favorite, you'll get to see where you have imbalances, where you may be tighter or stronger more on one side than the other, where you may need to work on your balance, your ankle, your knee, your hip stability. Open your feet a little bit wider than the hips. Tuck your pelvis under again. Pull the belly button into the spine. Sit your hips back as if you're sitting on a chair. Now, I'm going to point this out because someone is always going to tell me that they cannot squat. So you can sit on a bed or a chair. I'm going to use a stool here, which many of us have. You can use a lot of things around your house. So, if you're sitting on a toilet, guess what? That's a perfect squat. Perfect. Notice my hips are in back of my knees. This is key to keeping your knees safe. I'm also going to put the workload on my thighs and on my glutes, right? So my stomach muscles are pulled in. Again, my hips are reaching backwards. So if you're tilting all the way forward, if you find that your movement pattern, it's likely that your back muscles are very weak, which makes sense because many of us, we don't move backwards, so our attention is not in the back of the body. So what you can do to help give you a good foundation and a physical reference point is to simply sit your hips and glutes, tap your glutes to a chair, come up, squeeze your glutes because this is not an open hip. You want to open up the hips, squeeze the glutes at the top of the movement. Again, your pelvis is tucked under. So it's a little remedial. So you can refer back to this video if you're having issues. So you're going to reach your hips back, right? See if you can sit your hips and glutes parallel to the floor. When you stand, you're going to lift your leg out to the side. The seam of my pants is parallel to the ceiling. So I'm not here, I'm here. So I'm working glute medius. When people call to say they have saddlebags, whatever, I don't like to have self-deprecating or, to put myself down. I'd rather speak to what it is. So this is like a diamond. This glute is very important. The outside of my glute is glute medius. So I'm going to reach my hips back. I'm going to stand, have a hand clasp at the top and at the bottom. So it's 2, sit it down. 3, stomach muscles pulled in. 4, 5, sit it down. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, deep breathe. 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So, going nice and easy today. You should feel that in your standing leg. Heart rate is starting to get up. Now, if you're more conditioned, it may be harder for your heart rate to get up, especially if you've been doing the same movement patterns over and over and over. Again, feet are open a little bit wider than hip distance. Tuck the pelvis under. Belly button is pulled into the spine. Sit your hips back and down. Opposite side. Lift the leg up, parallel to the ceiling. 2, sit it down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, nice and easy, and 15. Good. How does that feel? Easy, but challenging. So you'd be amazed what you can do in a teeny space without even using any equipment. Right? So, again, if you have questions, put them in the chat. So I'm going to take sips of water if you need to. Don't gulp it down too quickly, all in one shot. Next movement pattern, again, maximizing using your own body weight. So side kicks, utilizing the oblique muscles that wrap around to support your back. Again, if you're standing next to you, you should be able to hear your inhale and exhale. So I'm simply going to kick out to the side. Now I'm not being harsh or jerky with my foot. I'm lifting from glute medius, right? His maximus, minimus, medius. And I'm also using my obliques and my breath. So you can use your arms to help you balance with control. Kick out to the side and place it down. All right, using your breath. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and only 15 for today. Stomach muscles pulled in. Opposite side. So you'll notice maybe if you don't have a lot of balance, because many of us don't challenge balance. Opposite side, glute medius. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, good, and 15, not too bad. Let's take it from the top. Those are simple movement patterns. I invite you to consider movement patterns in just mere exercises, or thinking of, I'm just going to work my arms. I'm just going to work my tricep. That's just one little small muscle group attached to one joint. So we're not likely to burn as much fuel, right? If you're not stuck with food already, then your body has the opportunity to tap into your onboard fuel tank, right? So again, these are little nuances. So again, extend your arms, shoulder height, tuck your hips under, belly button drawn to the spine, kick up, same foot, same hand. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, respect your range of motion, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Good. Feet open a little bit wider than the hips, belly button drawn in. Sit it back and down, lift it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Take your time. 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Belly button's running. Now my heart is at 78%. No machines necessary. Belly button's running. Sit it back and down. I have space between my legs. Lift it up. So outside of the seam of the pants is parallel to the ceiling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, good, and 15. Heart rate is at 81%. Coming down to the floor, activate the core. So, tabletop position, right? So I'm on my hands and my knees. So display your fingers. Display your fingers. Press your hands into the floor. Press the thumb, index finger, and pinky. Press them into the floor. So if you're here, this is compromising your head and your neck. This is what we see a lot of times when women, or if we don't have upper body strength when we do push-ups. So press your hands into the floor. Press your body away from the floor to activate your scapula. Your wrist, elbow, and shoulder should be lined up. So press your body away from the floor. You're also going to get your triceps working. Your pelvis. Again, that pelvis, tuck your hips and your pelvis under. So I'm not going into a cat-cow, but I am tucking my hips under. Draw your belly button into your spine. If you're going modified, if you haven't been moving long, from here, step that right foot outside the right hand. Then bring that knee back down to center, keeping your hips tucked under. Left foot steps outside the left hand. Bring that knee right back down. So that's if you're modified. Respect your level where you're at, right? You have enough time to build consistency. And if you've been moving with me longer, or if you have a bit more strength, you're going to, with keeping your hips and butt out of the air. We're not doing downward dog right now. Tuck your hips under. Press your hands into the floor. Press the body away from the floor. Right foot steps outside the right hand. My back heel, I want to push that back heel to the back wall. That's helping me to open up this hip on this side. Place your foot back down in the center. Good. Left foot steps outside the left hand. Keep pressing your body away from the floor. This back heel, I'm pressing it towards the back wall. That's helping me to feel a nice big stretch. It's very important that we open up the hips. Come back to center. Go to tempo. Good. And step. 3, center, and 3. If you're on the knees, take the knees. 4, 4, 5, deep breathe. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. And 10. Drop your knees to the floor. Sit your glutes back to your heels. Walk your hands out in front of you. Come up on the pads of your fingers. Come up on the pads of your fingers. Open your arms and your elbows out to the side and feel a big stretch across your back. Place your hands on the floor. One foot up, one foot up. Keep your hands down. Try to straighten out your legs. Good. Bend the knee and alternate bend the knee and then straighten. You feel a big stretch behind the back of your legs. Stomach muscles pull in, roll up. Good. Head rolls up last. So starting to get your core temperature nice and warm. Open your legs up wider than the hips. Again, respect whatever your body is, right? Because it's disrespectful to not have been moving and to try to force the body to do something it hasn't been doing. That's how you'll injure something. So open your legs nice and wide, or whatever that range of motion is for you, right? Natural bodies matter. Natural bodies matter over here. So open your legs up wide into a plie. Place your hands in prayer position. Take the elbows and gently press Pressing your hands together, press the knees open, feel a big stretch in your hips. Very common for our hips to be tight. I'm going to extend my right arm, which may be your left. Try to straighten out the elbow, palm is down. Try to straighten your arm out, feeling a stretch along the side of the body. Back to center. Opposite side, palm down, try to really straighten out the elbow. Your palm is facing the floor. One more time. Press the hands in prayer position, press the knees open. And extend. Straighten out your arm. Back to center. Good. And straighten. Place the hands on the floor flat. Straighten the legs out. Drop your hips down to the floor. Press your hands to the floor and straighten. Drop it down. And straighten the legs out. One more time. Drop your hips and glutes in the direction of the floor. Hands are flat. And straighten the legs out. Roll up. Head and neck should be the last thing to come up. Let's take the standing kicks again. So your body should be nice and warm. Again, make sure, check back in. Pelvis is tucked under. Belly button is drawn to the spine. Standing kick. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Should feel a little bit warmer. 4, 5, 6. Try to touch. 7. Bend your knee a little bit if you need to. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Good. Open up nice and wide. Stomach muscles pulled in. Lift that leg out to the side. 1, 2. Sit it down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. My heart rate's up to 75%. Take a nice little sip because we're going nice and easy. So how you feeling working in your little teeny space? Take a nice little sip. All right. We're going to take a little bit of sun salutation. So, even if you're a beginner, that's fine. If you learn some basic sun salutations in and of their own can be enough for you to have a nice little chunk of a yoga practice, a flexibility practice to last you until your hair is white, right? There are a million exercises. We don't need to do all of them, right? We want to do the ones that are the most efficient and effective for where our bodies are at to keep us injury-free, and also some things we can build some consistency. The consistency is going to show you a lot. Sometimes we're all over the place, and there's a time to jump on all the rides at the amusement park and try different types of fitness. Yet when it comes to a personal movement practice, a balanced movement practice is going to, my heart rate is coming down. A balanced movement practice for results, for specific results, and consistent results until your hair is white is going to include cardiovascular for the heart, strength training for dense bones, right? And if you want tone, there's no way you're going to have tone if you don't have any kind of movement. If you're not moving and challenging consistently, challenging your muscles and keeping it fresh, they're going to atrophy. That just is what it is. So strength training is very euthanic, done intelligently. So you have your strength, you have your cardio, then you have flexibility and mobility. Mobility, your limbs' ability to move a full range of motion around the joint, and then flexibility that will keep you injury-free. Thrown into the mix also is balance. Right? Balance becomes very important. Our lifespan, our quality of life goes down when we get hip injuries as we age. So I invite you to consider your movement practice and your food. This is your 401k of healthcare. So you have all your sense, your brain is functioning optimally, and that your body can serve you as you mature. So with that being said, we're going to take some modified sun salutations, right? So just think of on the upward movements, we're going to take an inhale, and the downward movements, we're going to take an exhale. So you want to breathe deep enough so you can hear your inhale and your exhale. So on my inhale movements, again, my pelvis is tucked under. This will be considered Tadasana, Samasthiti, or mountain pose, same thing. Pelvis is tucked under. I'm standing still, though it's active. So I'm going to inhale as I raise my arms together. My hands come together. And I'm looking up at the ceiling, pressing my hands together with the inhale. I'm going to exhale, and I'm going to gently fall forward. Now I want to release my head and my neck. Good. I'm going to step, come to the front of my mat. I'm going to step back with my left foot. Right? So I'm feeling a stretch in the extended leg. I'm going to step back with my right foot. Now, if you're modified, you're going to drop directly down to your knees. Right? If we're doing it very advanced, we can go from here with the elbows in and drop down. So we're going to take it nice and beginning. Going to drop down to the knees. Try to keep your elbows to your side. Bring your chest down. And I'm going to bring my head forward and I'm going to scoop into a cobra. So it's going to be head, chest, and then my midsection. So I'm going to scoop forward. Let the knees slide back. My hands are outside my chest. And I'm coming up. I'm squeezing my butt cheeks to protect my back. Right? From here, curl your toes under. Press your hands into the floor and press into downward dog. Exhale up. Now, if your feet are not flat, you can simply walk your feet in. You can pedal up on the balls of your feet or walk and then come up and push both heels down to the floor. Right? Stay there for a minute. So pressing your heels down to the floor, you can feel a big stretch in the back of your calves, pulling your stomach muscles in, spreading your fingertips, pressing your hands away from the floor. Good. Step forward with your right foot. Step forward with your left foot. Stomach muscles pulled away from thighs. Inhale, reach it up. Hands come together in prayer position. Good. And then exhale. Good again. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, pin, you'll lean forward at the hips. Drop your head and neck down. So you're going to step back with the right foot. Hands nice and flat. Step back with the left foot. Drop your knees to the floor. Scoop forward with your head, your chest, and the rest of the body. Scoop forward into cobra. Come up. Squeeze your butt cheeks. So I'm pressing my hands are outside my chest. I'm pressing my body up away from the floor. Squeeze your glutes to protect your lower back. And I'm still breathing here. Good. Lower down. Curl your toes under. Press your hands into the floor. Exhale, press yourself into downward dog. Walk your feet forward if you need to. Press your heels down into the floor. Spread your fingertips. Press your body away from the floor. So this is a tremendous stretch. You also want to be mindful that you're pulling your belly button into the spine. Going to breathe there. Good. Step forward with that left foot. Step forward with the right foot. Drop the head and neck down. Stomach muscles pulled away from the thighs. Inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, hands come into prayer position again. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fall forward at the hips. Drop your head and neck down. Step backwards with the left foot. Hands are on the outside on either side of your foot. So I'm feeling a big stretch in the tip of the leg that's extended. Step back. The opposite foot. Drop your knees down to the floor. Here comes the head, the chest, and scoop forward. Good. Raise your torso off the floor. Squeeze your glutes to protect your back. Your hands on the outside of your chest. Good. Drop down. Curl the toes under. Press your hands into the floor. Exhale. Press into downward dog. Walk your feet forward if you need to. Strive to push the heels down into the floor. You're pressing your hands and your body away from the floor. Step forward with the left foot. Step forward with the right foot. Stomach muscles pull away from the thighs. Inhale, reach the arms up. Good, and exhale, back into mountain pose. One more time. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, then fall forward. Drop the head and neck down. Step back with that left foot. Step back with the right foot. Drop your knees down to the floor. Scoop forward with your head and your chest and slide the knees back, hands on the outside of the chest. Squeeze your glutes together so you're protecting your back. You're raising your torso. This is helping your posture because you have to use all these back muscles to come up. Press your hands into the floor. Curl your toes under. Press your hands into the floor. Come into a downward dog position. Walk your feet forward if you need to so that you can push your heels down to the floor. At least That's what we're striving for. Belly button is drawn into the spine. Your gaze point actually will be your belly button. Spread your fingertips, press your body away from the floor. Step forward with your left foot. Step forward with your right foot. Stomach muscles pulled away from your thighs. Inhale, reach your arms up. Good, and exhale. Back into prayer position. Let's take the heart rate up one more time. So we're going with this opposite leg. Stomach muscles pulled in. Reach your hips and glutes back and lift it up. So it's 1, 2, seam of the pants. 3 goes parallel to the ceiling. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lift it up. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Other side. 1, 2, deep breathe. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Arms extended, shoulder height. Kick up, same foot, same hand. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And 1. Lift your knees to your chest. That helps you release your back. Coming down to the floor. Heart rates are 82%. Woo. So, little side note, if you wear waist beads, as I love waist beads for many reasons. I love the symbol it is of femininity. I wear them in several places. Be careful when you're tying your waist beads that you have them placed comfortably so they're not digging into your back when you're laying on your back to do exercises. So being I'm on the floor a lot, I want to make sure when I tie my beads, I have some at the narrowest part of my waist, which if you overeat, it's going to be choking you. So it's like a little tap on the shoulder. You're overdoing it. And then I also have them placed right around the widest part of my waist, right? And I can actually move those out of the way when I'm tilting my pelvis on the floor when I'm doing exercises. So a little side note, hold my flowers and Afro flowers. Again, so tabletop position, spread or splay your fingers, press your hands into the floor, press the body away from the floor, tuck your pelvis under, draw your belly button into your spine. You're going to bring the right elbow to the right knee and then extend. Again, you're still breathing the entire time. Inhale and exhale. Again, if you're here, this is not good form. It doesn't make sense to do a whole bunch of exercises in proper form. You're likely going to jack up your shoulders, your neck, and your back. So take the time, even if you do less repetitions, right? Don't let the ego take out the host, right? Strive to go with good form, right, as your priority. Again, so activate your scapula or your shoulder girdle, shoulder blades, same thing. Right elbow to left knee and then extend. So it's 1, they meet in the center, then extend. 2, thumb points to the ceiling. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 5, 4, 3, 2, and hold it out. 5, 4, 3, 2, good, and relax. Give a little bit of a tail wag to release your back. Again, spread the fingertips, press your hands into the floor, press the body away from the floor to activate your scapula, belly button's drawn in, opposite side. Left elbow to right knee, then extend. They meet in the center and then extend. 1, 2, listen to your breath. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 5, 4, 3, 2, hold it out, 5, 4, 3, 2, good, and left. So again, tuck your pelvis under, give a little bit of a tail wag. So we'll just take one more. Tabletop position, opposite side. You're gonna make circles internally, right? So big circles. Try not to lean over onto your side, right? Make sure you're evenly distributing the weight. Splay and spread your fingers. Press your hands into the floor. Press your body away from the floor. Activate the scapula. You're gonna make big circles inward. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 5, 4, 3, 2, good, and 1. Opposite side. Make sure you're leaving enough space in between the knees. Spread the fingertips. Press your hands to the floor. Press the body away from the floor. Opposite side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 5, 4, 3, 2, good, and 1. Sit your glutes, your buttocks back to your heels. Walk your hands out in front of you. Wait till you come up with the pads of your fingers. Open your elbows and your arms out to the side. Feel a big stretch on your back. Press your hands into the floor. So I'm going to bring my left leg up. I'm into a kneeling position. I'm going to push my hips forward. So the knee that's down, my right knee is down. I'm going to squeeze my right butt cheek, and that's going to help me to feel a big stretch actually in my hip joint. I'm going to lean back ever so slightly, squeeze this glute. Now try to squeeze the two legs together. You should feel a very, very intense stretch. My right knee is down, so I'm going to pick up that right arm and reach the right fingertips for the ceiling. So I'm pulling up and out of the hip. Breathe into your stretch. Good. Place the hands on the floor. Gently sit back. Let your hips go back and feel a stretch in the back of the extended leg. So go at your own range of motion. Breathe into your stretch. Good. And come up. Walk yourself over to the opposite side. Right? So, opposite leg is up. I'm going to lunge forward a little back. I'm going to lean back a little bit with my upper body. Now my left knee is down. I'm going to squeeze my left glute so I feel a tremendous stretch in my left hip. This is the area that gets closed down from sitting for too many hours. If you're sitting with a desk job 8 hours, that is really compromising your core and your back. So now try to squeeze the two legs together to intensify the stretch as if you have one leg. My left knee is down, so I'm going to pick up my left arm and reach my left fingertips for the ceiling. Breathe into your stretch. Reach your hips backward. Take your time. And feel a stretch in the back of the extended leg. Stomach muscles drawn in. So I feel this huge stretch in the back of this extended leg. And take your time to come out. Come into a straddle position or a nice tripod or triangle position. Stomach muscles drawn in. Inhale. So you're pulling your stomach muscles in so that you're protecting your back on the underside, right? So you don't want just everything to spill forward. Pull your stomach muscles in. You'll likely remind yourself of that several times throughout your movement practice. Inhale. Exhale, walk your hands forward. Whatever your range of motion is fine. You're going for the point of slight discomfort. And reach your chest in the direction of the floor. And breathe in your stretch. You should feel a tremendous stretch. Inside the groin area, you're stretching to the point of slight discomfort. You can move your feet to work your way into the stretch. So these kinds of things you're not going to feel if you're working only inside machines. Walk your hands back. I'm going to lean over to my right side. So I'm going to reach my left fingertips in the direction of my right toes, and I'm feeling a big stretch along the side of the body. Circle the arm around and bring it over again. Breathe into your stretch. With each exhale, the body releases a little bit more. Let the body float up. Over to the opposite side. So I'm leaning over to my right side. Feeling a nice stretch along the side of the body. Circle the arm around. Good, and reach it over again. And let the body float up. Then sit up into a cross-legged position. See if you can put one leg on top of the other. Don't force it. If one knee is coming up higher, that's just showing you where your body is. If it's tight right now, so without judging or beating yourself up, we just want to observe where the body is in space. So see if you can make a little box, or at least that's what we're striving for. That is a process. So my ankle, I'm striving to line up with my knee to make a little bit of a box. Stomach muscles are joining, so I'm protecting my back on the other side. Walk forward onto your elbows and feel the stretch, a big stretch around my glutes and my hip on the leg that's on top. So come forward. This is excellent for your back. Come forward onto your elbows. Stomach muscles are still drawn in, but you're relaxed and breathing into the stretch. Good. Come up and release. So now put the other leg on top. So now I have my left foot on top. I'm trying to make a box with my ankle and my knees. Stomach muscles drawn in. Walk your hands forward. Come onto your elbows and feel that big stretch around the hip of the top leg. So right around your hip and your glute, belly button's drawn in. Good, and come up. So we're going to do what I like to call sealing your practice. So in sealing your practice, that means you take a moment to set an intention for your day, right? To be very, very intentional. It may seem like it's not a big deal, but it is. So you don't have to be in a half lotus or full lotus. You can find whatever position is comfortable for you. If your hips are super tight, you can take 1 or 2 yoga blocks. If your knees are all the way up here because you're very tight, you can take one of your yoga blocks or a huge pillow, something that's very firm, and sit up on it. That can help your hips open out to the side. You want to find a comfortable position. So again, even here, we're going to strive to tuck the pelvis under so that our lower backs are nice and straight. And just take a moment to acknowledge yourself for doing something showing up and actually putting some action forward is not nothing. It is extremely significant when it comes to habits. Habits are everything. I am going to turn off the heart rate monitor, right? So I can track, right? You can get some kind of a printout and a reading at the end of the month and the end of each week for what you're doing. It's positive accountability, right? It's not just the talking. Getting into action and consistent action counts, right? So I invite you to take some deep breaths in to set an intention for your day. You can decide in advance how you would like to respond to the triggers and the challenges that will likely be placed before you today. They're coming. So you can decide in advance what would be the most beneficial way for me to respond to them in a way that conserves my energy, the way I feel after a movement practice and after I've taken the time to make healthy food for myself. That's a whole vibe. How do I continue that vibe when I know that I'm in an environment that's very triggering? That's a fact. So we can strive to set an intention for how we would like to respond to the triggers from other humans, or maybe old memories or trauma that comes up from within ourselves in our own mind, right? And our mental conditioning, how we would like to respond to them, right? So I invite you to take a nice big deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, keeping in mind the lungs are not here, the lungs are down here. Allow them to fill with air. Take a nice big deep breath in through the nose and inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And one more time, inhale. I invite you to maintain an awareness of the cadence and the pace of your breath as it flows in and out of your body. See if you can bring to your attention your toes, allowing your big toes and your pinky toes to soften and relax, allowing the tops of your feet, the soles of your feet, your heels, shins, and calves, knees and thighs to soften and relax in the direction of the floor. Bring your attention to your hips and glutes. Allow them to soften and become weighty and to sink into the floor below you. Allow your lower back to soften and relax. Allow your stomach muscles to soften and relax. Allow your torso and your chest to relax and open and expand. Allow your mid and upper back and shoulders to relax. Notice as your fingertips, your thumbs, your pinkies, your palms, your wrists, forearms, elbows, and upper arms become very heavy and soft and relax in the direction of the floor. Allow your heart to relax and soften and expand inside of your chest. Allow your throat to soften and relax. Allow your face to soften and relax. Notice as your ears rest gently along the sides of your face. Notice as your tongue rests gently inside of your mouth. Allow your eyes to rest softly in the sockets. Allow your brain to relax. See if you can bring to your mind's eye something that you are grateful for. Notice how that makes you feel. See if you can bring to your mind's eye something that brings joy and laughter to your face. Notice your facial expression and how that makes you feel. I invite you today to notice how the different things that you are watching and that you're engaging with your conversation, see if you can just dial in and see how they are making you feel. Your emotions are a very important compass. I invite you today to feed and nourish yourself with the most colorful, nutrient-dense, living water-rich, peaceful fuel that is available to you, fuel that demonstrates that it loves you back. Your arteries, your colon, your stomach muscles, your kidney, your liver, your spleen, your brain. Fuel that is in alignment with your vision for your life. And I invite you to create a great day on purpose, simply as you said so. So feel free, if you haven't already, or even if you have, to record this simple little movement practice in your Body-Culinary in your calendar, right? So that you can see every month at a month at a glance, right? It's like a little game, a positive game of accountability you play with yourself, right? It's almost 30 days. So even if you got 25 days out of 30, that's significant. If you got 15 out of 30, that's significant. If you got 7 when before you got 0, right? Even if it's 15 and 20 minutes, that is significant. Consistent action towards a goal. If something is important to us, then it shows up in how we spend our time in standing appointments, whether that is conscious or unconscious. How we're spending our time is showing up in our checkbook and it's showing up on our calendar. So if we had to do an accounting of how we've been spending our time, the conversations, what we're eating, what we're paying attention to, and how it's making us feel, we might not be aware of the long-term costs, right? The long-term costs of our consumption patterns, though you can lose a lot of your motivation in gossip and the things that we're watching recreationally. We may not even realize that when it's time for you to do your movement practice or make healthy food for yourself, or to incorporate some type of discipline, that you feel depleted. You've given all your energy and your attention away to other people, or to, without making yourself bad or wrong, into mindless activities because they provide a distraction from things that are uncomfortable. So I invite you to use your journal to help you be reflective. We are definitely in a very triggering environment that has a lot of us go out of consciousness, out of present, even though we're walking around and working, and being worker bees. Though it is interesting when we can't get into action around things that matter to us, our core values, or if there are a lot of stressful eating and mindless consumption to cope with a lot of things that we're doing we don't want to do, or in broken promises, that is showing up in a very significant way of our lives. So I invite you to the 3 leverage lifestyle practices that we share on this channel. Peaceful consumption, food that loves you back, right? It's kind to you, other animals, the planet. The label, you can call yourself whatever you want to. Garden therapy, deeply therapeutic, right? And of course, cultivating a personal movement practice. These are 3 leverage lifestyle practices that give you back so much more for the investment of your time. These practices will ground you and stay with you when people become flaky, when everything else leaves, when your financial situation changes, when you have to move, or when people expire, right? These are part of the cycles of life. They will ground you and hold you and sustain you forever. So I invite you to try them on for size. So thanks for joining me this Sunday. I have other classes this Sunday to attend to. If you didn't catch the whole thing, catch the replay. Again, some of the other videos, I invite you to consider creating support for yourself. I know what it's like to not have support when you are endeavoring to change and upgrade your fuel, right? Because we have some very addictive patterns. Without beating ourselves up, it comes from somewhere. But you may be the only person at your job or in your family or in your immediate environment or your circle of influence that is really endeavoring, that is serious about making life changes, right? As health insurance, deposits into the 401k of your body. I invite you, especially my young flowers, to consider, right, as someone that's had lots of malpractice lawyers, as several, as clients, to consider taking your body to the healthiest it can be before you ever consider a surgery, right? Most people that I know that have had stomach alterations don't consider that you don't absorb nutrients in the same way, that your gut health, which is a significant part of your immune system, that is often compromised. The way you assimilate nutrients, some people have thinning hair. So there are a lot of things as we follow. I followed a bit too as a young person. As humans, we follow. There are a lot of things that you don't see when we are minding and following celebrities or people we feel like we're resonating with their lives. Our situation may not be the same. Ultimately, we are responsible for our lives. So I invite you to take your body to the fittest that it can be, giving your body whole, fresh, real food that your immune system can recognize before you think of injecting a lot of chemical substances in that haven't been tested long term. Understanding too that gravity comes for us all. Whatever kind of alterations we do, gravity's still coming for us. So I invite you to also consider radical self-acceptance, really keeping your body as healthy as it can be. We want to ensure that our reproductive organs are cancer-free and tumor and growth-free. So the things that we're ingesting, right, and the stressful types of relating that we're making ourselves available to is dramatically affecting our body chemistry. So we can pick ourselves up and remove ourselves from harm's way and go hang out in the garden, in your peaceful consumption, food preparation area, right, and in your movement practice. Y'all create a great day. Like, comment respectfully, and subscribe. I'll see you soon. You can find me at BODYCULINARY on TikTok, a teeny bit of Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And hopefully I'll see you 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. There are links for Whole Living Foods in the Hood with menus to fit your budget, natural beauty, no products. I do put food on my hair and skin. If I can't eat it, forget about it. And there's going to be some things that I've been working on. People that have been asking me about apprenticeships. That is something that I am working on for young flowers, for those that very serious about learning. Yeah, so you can contact me at info@body-culinary. Only those serious-minded need apply. Create a great day on purpose.